Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. Happy Friday. Happy New Year. Please be safe. Stay warm. This commentary is pertaining to Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She has decided to speak to GMA pertaining to her newfound freedom after her release from prison at 85% for the murder of her mother back in 2015. Thank you for joining me.
Exclusive with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. In her first interview after leaving prison for her role in the murder of her mother, she sat down with 2020 anchor Deborah Roberts. Good morning, Deborah.
Good morning, George. Her dramatic life of tragedy and survival has just captivated so many, especially Gen Zers, in a way that very few have. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who helped kill her mother to escape a life of suffering and abuse, has been the subject of countless media stories and a Hollywood series. Well, now she's a free woman, and she's telling her own story.
I share my story to be a cautionary tale so that the next person that might be in a situation like mine, they don't take the route that I did.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is finally tasting the freedom she's long dreamed of. Tell me about the day you stepped out from behind the prison walls.
You don't realize how much you're restricted in prison. I felt like I was in a black and white world and I just stepped into Technicolor. It was amazing.
Her world shifting after spending nearly 9 years in prison for helping plot the murder of her own mother. Gypsy, a victim of her mother's psychological disorder, commonly known as Munchausen syndrome by proxy, in which parents seek sympathy through the exaggerated or made-up illnesses of their children. Since childhood, Gypsy's mother, Dee Dee, portrayed her daughter as frail, disabled, suffering from multiple illnesses, including leukemia and muscular dystrophy, subjecting the girl to life in a wheelchair, a feeding tube, and unnecessary surgeries, even having some of her teeth removed. It was all a lie. When you look at these pictures now of Gypsy Rose, what do you think now?
I don't even associate with that little girl anymore.
Do you recognize her?
I don't. I know that it's me, but at the same time, that isn't me anymore.
Your mom has been portrayed as a monster.
I don't believe my mother was a monster. She had a lot of demons herself that she was struggling with. I didn't want her dead. I just wanted out of my situation. And I thought that was the only way out.
In 2015, Gypsy says she reached a breaking point and plotted with a boyfriend she met online, Nicholas Godejohn, to kill her mother. Gypsy would later plead guilty to second-degree murder. Godejohn was convicted of carrying out the stabbing death and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Is it fair that he is incarcerated for life for killing your mom and you're out?
Well, I'm sure that we both have a lot of regrets. All I can really say is that I did my time. He's doing his time for his part. And I wish him well on his journey.
During her prison stay, public fascination with Gypsy exploded. Her story portrayed in multiple documentaries and a drama series, The Act.
I'm so trapped. And I can't tell anyone.
Gypsy now sharing unscripted personal details about her past in a Lifetime docuseries, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. You say that you were addicted to painkillers. Mm-hmm. How serious was this addiction?
You know, this is really hard to talk about because it took me down a really dark path. But I felt like it was my only way to cope for a time.
So when you made this decision to take part in the killing of your mom, were you high?
Yes, I was.
And do you blame that for your decision?
No. I don't blame drugs. I don't blame anything. I don't make excuses.
And now?
And now I'm sober. Now I haven't used in 4 years, and I don't feel the need to. Hey everyone, this is Gypsy. I'm finally free.
Her journey sparking a cult-like following online. Do you feel any conflict with that? You've got fame, even though you participated in a murder?
Of course I feel conflicted. Fame is not what I'm looking for. I always said I think I'm infamous, and then I came out famous.
You've had shots of your selfie out of prison. You've commented on your love life. Are you enjoying the attention?
Honestly, I'm a very shy person. I don't think that I'm doing anything that anybody else wouldn't do. I'm being myself.
Ryan Anderson, her new husband who wrote Gypsy in prison, was waiting outside the prison doors after his wife's release.
Oh, I missed you.
I miss you too.
But you're really together physically for the first time.
Yes.
We call it newly together with.
What are your plans? Do you want to have children?
We've talked about starting a family. We just don't know when at this point. Our lives are pretty hectic right now.
So this is your happily ever after, the gal who liked being a princess.
It is, yeah. I had to kiss a couple frogs to get to this one. Here's my face.
Wow.
Thank you, baby.
Blanchard tells us she's rebuilding relationships, including with her father, and hopes to use her fame for good to shine a light on domestic abuse. Her docuseries begins tonight on Lifetime. And of course, guys, we're going to have more on this story on 2020 in the coming weeks or months.
Woo! A lot to digest. GMA is the source. Thank you for joining me. Was it fair for this young man, John, to get life? As she replied, I've done my time. He got his time. She wishes him well on his journey. Well, he doesn't really have a journey because he's locked up. He doesn't have the chance of parole. He's not coming out of there unless in a body bag, or he gets deathly ill and they put him in some type of hospital. Some type of prison hospital. So how do you all feel about that? Because some states will give the orchestrator the same amount of time as the person who actually committed the crime. You also hear that she was on painkillers, which I thought was kind of strange, and I was listening intently to see where this was going. She said she's been free 4 years. So imagine that. Now, we hear that there are drugs running rampant in the prison system. So what I have to ask myself is, how did she get access to opiates inside of prison? Who gave them to her, or was she being prescribed some type of narcotic for whatever situation she may have been going through in the prison by a physician and or nurse staff? Because if it wasn't administered by staff members, such as a nurse, then that means she was getting painkillers through somebody. And then you have to ask, how was she affording them? So let's say she was buying them from an inmate. Who was putting money on the commissary books? This guy, family members, daddy, whom? You also hear that she's resumed a relationship with her father. How is that working out thus far? Well, she's only been out a short while, maybe 2 weeks. How are they going to work on their relationship? What are their discussions like? Did he tell her what happened during those years of him being vacant, absent? Why were you vacant, absent, sir? I'm very curious to know that. You lived in the same town, didn't live in the same town. What was the dynamic? You didn't get along with the mother. She kept the child from you. What? Did you ever go to court to try to get rights? So you have to ask all those questions, because it's so easy, as I say, to fluff up a story. And we see this a lot with commentary. Reporters, interviewers, they don't really ask some of the hard questions that many of us are curious about. Like, where's the father? What happened to him? Where was he when she was going through all this trauma with her mother? You hear her also say she doesn't believe her mother was a monster, that she had demons. Yeah, but to some, she is a monster. She was a monster. Some may even feel like she deserved what she got. Some may feel like she deserved prison time. The fact that your teeth were removed, that's deep right there. Why were her teeth removed? What doctor sanely thought her teeth should be removed? Or was the mother doing something to her physically, such as administering some type of drug or narcotic that would make her teeth fall out or rotten? I don't know. But I can't see a sane dentist saying her teeth need to be removed. And there are also questions from a doctor or so about her situation as far as not finding something tangible, something wrong with her. This is when you should have called the state. And that's possibly what the mother did, her shuffling around. Because we've learned when it comes to this Munchausen syndrome, abuse of children, that's when people pick up and move. And we've seen this with a few true crime cases of missing children and deceased children, that there were allegations of abuse. Somebody did call DHS, and somebody, such as the parent, up and disappeared. And then later we hear a child or children are dead. It's a sad tale because obviously the mother was sick. She was ill. She probably was a very lonely person. I'm assuming she was a very lonely person because you'd have to be a very lonely person inside to do this to your child. It would be the same as if you did it for yourself and pretended you were sick. You're lonely, you're bitter, you're miserable, you're unhappy, you're insecure. There's something deeply wrong with you to make up an illness, period, whether it's for yourself or for your children. But imagine being Gypsy in this household with a crazy mother, and you're realizing that I don't feel sick, I don't look sick, I just have a shaved head. Stay woke. She also admits that she knew she couldn't walk during a prison interview. I believe that was with Dr. Phil. She knew she couldn't walk. So imagine that. I don't feel sick. I don't look sick. Hey, I can even walk. So then you have to ask yourself, at what point did the little girl say to herself, let me try getting out this wheelchair, this chair, just to see if I can walk. And then voila, I can walk. Did she say something to her mother? Mommy, I can walk. I can move. Why am I in this chair? What did the mother say? How did she reply? Because I can't remember. It's been about 2 weeks since I dug into the story. If she told her mother that she realized she wasn't sick. But just role play here. She confronts her mother. Oh yeah, I think she did, because the mother said, nobody's going to believe you. So imagine you now know that there's nothing wrong with you. So what age did she know she wasn't sick? Why didn't she go call the uncle? Because the uncle is mentioned in that commentary. Why didn't she call that uncle or relative to say, hey, come get me. Meet me at the corner stop, bus stop, library. I want out of here. I'm not sick. I can walk. Because I can't see somebody picking her up and then taking her right back to the mother's house to say, oh, I found her. I picked her up. She called me. She said she can walk. Well, if you see her walking, then you know the mother's been lying. But you do have some really weird, wacko people who would take the damn kid back. So, it is easy to judge and say, why didn't you call somebody? We've seen the cases of that where people were told that somebody was abusing them, hurting them, and they'll go call the person. Oh, yeah, they're over here at my house. Come get her. Oh, I don't believe that he's beating you or this and that. So you do have to be careful about who you tell certain things to. Because as we've learned with child abuse, especially with SA, many people don't believe the child. And I always question that. Why in the world would you not believe a child? Why would you want to believe that, especially that type of abuse? Where would a child get that from anyway to make that up? But nonetheless, abuse itself. But you can't go back. That's life. Hindsight is 20/20. Doctor saw the sign. Nurses, somebody saw the signs. Something wasn't right. You should have done due diligence to notify the state of Louisiana and the authorities to give your renderings of what you have assessed while dealing with her as a patient, and then let the investigation go from there. She should have been taken to a different facility, checked to see if she could walk, because I still can't see how somebody that is a licensed physician did not realize the girl could not walk. That's strange to me. You're running tests, blood work, And you don't see anything in there that showed that she had muscular dystrophy. That was strange. So this is when you should be calling the state of Louisiana, CPS, and law enforcement. Hey, I need someone over here ASAP. The mother and child are here. I do not believe this child is sick. We've run tests, this and that. This is a bizarre case. And it's even more bizarre because she got to the age of 23 and orchestrated the murder of her mother. She wasn't 10 or 12 talking about murder. 23. This is of the age of consent and knowing better. And one would ask that question. Well, my goodness, she realizes she's not sick. She's confronted her mother that this is a farce. She's still playing the role, even though she knows she's not sick. At this point, some would say, well, she's just as culpable of finding this guy, dating him, and then one thing led to another, talking about the abuse. But you still have to understand her mindset. She may have been an adult, but she's been brainwashed for many years. So it's no different than grooming a child for sexual assault, physical abuse. This will be considered mental abuse. It's all the same. Abuse is abuse, and it's grooming. Extreme grooming. And you can see her in the pictures and the photographs. She always seemed happy and bubbly and smiling for an alleged sick kid. And you also hear how she speaks. She sounds childlike in her voice. But she takes responsibility for her role in killing her mother. And you also hear that she doesn't even speak ill of her mother. And that's why you know it's grooming, see. As you heard with the little boy locked in the garage down in Florida. The boy in the box. Testifies in open court and doesn't say anything ill about his parent abductors. Because that's what they were. Kidnap your child and lock him in a hot-ass garage in a box, makeshift box. And then the boy goes into open court and tells the court that they're not bad people. If that's not grooming, I don't know what grooming is. Because they've made this boy believe he was a bad kid. And I'm not here to say that he wasn't a bad kid. Maybe he was. Maybe he did talk back, didn't mind. But he won't be the first and won't be the last. But you don't lock a child up in a box, in a concrete box, because they won't mind. Because as I've said, I've seen some very belligerent kids. Rude, curse, talk back, hit their parents, stay out all day, don't come in, breaking the law, and the parents still uphold them and allow them to live in their damn house. So then you ask yourself, with that case, with the boy in the box, damn, how bad could it have been? Because you're supposed to take precautions when you see the signs that your children are wayward or acting out. You don't lock them in a box. You don't hide them in a room. You don't lock them in a room. You don't starve them. Ding, ding, ding. How will she fare now that she's been released, Miss Gypsy Rose? You hear her talking about coming out from a world that appeared black and white to technicolor. That has to be very interesting. Now she has the freedom to roam, to do what she wants. She seems very affectionate towards the husband who she's married. He seems to be happy, content with her. But this is also new, because they've just been looking at each other through possible glass and visits in a day room in a prison. Now we can touch, make love, so on and so forth. But how will they fare? Because now she has the freedom to roam. She has the freedom to think for herself. She has the fortitude to do as she wants. So think about that now. I've been in prison with my mother, brainwashed, groomed, find somebody like them, and then we conspire to kill my mother. I go to prison. So see, she went from one prison to the other. What will be sad is if she gets locked into a third box. I'm not saying that she will, but just listen to me carefully. Old habits die hard. And you've seen this with people. That's why terrible things continue to happen with people. They don't learn anything different. So we know that she knows how to lie, to manipulate. Stay woke. Was she lying, manipulating to get this guy to fancy her in prison? Because then you got to question his motives. What do you want with a girl that conspired to kill her mother? Nothing wrong with feeling sorry for her. But do you really want to date somebody that has done this? And it's not to say that she doesn't deserve to be loved, start a family, have a family. But I'm just saying, in general terms, what's the catch-all? Is there a catch-all? So you have to ask all those questions. Now, she could be genuinely in love with this young man. He could be genuinely in love with her. But just imagine if this is a double juggling type of situation. A lonely man reaching out to a woman locked up in prison, and he has no idea what the hell he's getting himself into, and or he's on the take. Number two, she's on the take. See, you don't know because you don't know people. I hope she does well in life because she does deserve that opportunity. She's had a horrible upbringing, which was not her fault, and you do have to factor that in. She wasn't an adult going along with a scheme to scam people out of money and gifts and things. She was a child. So she was abused. That's been proven. Her mistake was telling that boy she wanted her mom dead. And he foolishly went along with it. And now he's gotten life in prison. And I've also asked in my last video pertaining to this subject matter, how does he feel about her being released? How does he feel about the sentence he got? Does he feel like he deserved to be locked up for life? Some people have disagreed that he shouldn't be locked up. You're entitled to your opinion, or at least got a long sentence. I asked on my community page about 2 weeks ago, how do you think she will fare out here in the public? Because like I said, she's been groomed many years, and that will affect your mindset. And she also acknowledges her wrongdoing and in the participation of killing her mother, which is a good thing. But being free, she has a long road ahead of her. And I just pray that she doesn't get into any type of mischief. She doesn't get misled by anybody else, this husband or anybody else. That she doesn't get in the wrong company. Because one thing we've learned about trauma, you can get yourself right back in the same or similar situation because it's all you know. So you got to think about being groomed for years, conspiring to kill your mother, going to prison. 9 years is a long time. Hearing all the war stories in prison, seeing all the shenanigans of prison life. And there's no telling what she's seen and witnessed and also done and participated in there. She acknowledges being addicted to drugs in there. And now she's out. So as I said, old habits die hard. I'd hate to hear that she starts to have trouble in life, this marriage, and the first thing she does, she starts going out looking for drugs. It's not to say that she will, but just saying she's admitted to having a drug problem, which I find very baffling. 4 years clean, but she's been incarcerated for 9. So do the math. How will Gypsy Rose fare out here? How does that guy's family feel? That's another question I have. What do you want with her? Why are you marrying this girl? You don't know her. Why does he want her? I am curious. But like I said, she does deserve a chance. So that means she deserves everything that comes with life. Happiness, a house, a home, a dog, a cat, a kid, possibly. A relationship. But why him? Sir, why her? People are going to ask that question. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. What did you see in Gypsy Rose to where you wanted to keep writing, calling, visiting, ask her to marry you? Are you ready for what comes along with this journey? And the one question that the lady asked that was very interesting. Are you wanting attention? And what did she say? What's wrong? Everybody else is doing it. Basically, I'm not doing what everybody else isn't doing. Very interesting. And that's a live stream I want to bring to you. As I said to you guys the other day, how far is too far with social media and posting and going live? Because she says it. Everybody else does it. She's right. Most people that get released from prison, they get a cell phone. They take selfies. They post to a IG or Facebook page. They let you know they're free. They start talking about what they're doing, where they're going, who they're meeting. They went out to the bar, the club, the this, the that, whatever. She also has a fan base, from what you hear in this commentary. But how will she fare? Because as I said, she has newfound freedom now. And we've learned with freedom from a bad situation, especially prison and abuse, there's a price, because there's always a price. As someone once said years ago, it's an old saying, free ain't really free. And that's the truth. Free ain't really free. Let's read the comments below this video. I'm so proud of this girl. I couldn't imagine what she went through. None of us has a right to judge her. 2 replies. What about the guy she convinced to kill her mom? Are you proud of him too? While he rots behind the bars the rest of his life, you know he also has a disability and was manipulated into doing this for Gypsy. He will spend the rest of his life paying for Gypsy's mother. Next reply. I don't think it's a judgment to say there is never a reason for murder. She was not incapacitated. She could have left, got a barring order against her mother, and cut contact. Somebody replies to that comment. Simply just walked out and ran away is what I'm thinking. Then somebody replies to the original comment. You do realize she tried to leave, but Gypsy's mother managed to convince CPS nothing was wrong. If you knew the actual case, you would know Gypsy was no longer trusted and was ultimately taped down to her wheelchair by her mother and couldn't even leave her room for any reason. She only had access to her laptop and was restricted from the outside world. She was manipulated and lied to her whole life. She knew nothing about laws, police officers, or any of that because she didn't really attend any kind of school because her mother said she was dying. This is from Carzia Speed. Well, interesting information. So that's why you have to go into the belly of the beast and do all the reading. Because as I always tell you, each article has something different than another source. So maybe she was taken down by her mother. Because one thing I found interesting when I was watching one of the interviews recently, she's posing in a picture with a wig on and like a negligee type outfit. And the first thing I thought was, where the hell did that outfit come from? Who bought that outfit? Because if she couldn't walk, she definitely wouldn't have been out in public walking to a department store or Victoria's Secret to buy that type of outfit. And I found that so bizarre. But then I had to think, well, you could buy things online. Maybe she ordered it. But then that came to me. That was strange too, because it was like, okay, if she ordered it online, with what? A credit card or debit card? I'm supposed to believe her mother would give her access to a debit card and a credit card? See, I don't know. But there is a photo of her, a selfie, where she's posing in a very provocative outfit. And I'm trying to understand who bought it for her. How did she get the outfit? How did she get the wig? See, all that's scary. So whether she was taped down, not taped down, explain that picture. Because that's possibly a picture she sent to that guy when she started, talking to him and everything. It's a scary thought. And in the end, you really don't know what the hell went on in that house with that mother. Because she may have tried to escape, tried to leave, threatened to leave. And then you got to tell yourself that. Where was she going to go? So see, there are 1,000 questions you can ask in judging this situation. If she had left, where would she have gone? She would have been in the street. We know she should have called somebody. She should have called that uncle to say, hey, your sister's a liar. She's got me lying. I'm not sick. I'm not ill. I can walk. But then you got to ask yourself, what was his response? So you don't know. And he can easily tell the news now, I would have called the police. I would have told on my sister. Would he? Would he have told the police, oh, my niece just called and told me that they've been living a lie? So you don't know. And now it's hindsight 2020. He could tell us anything. I don't trust people. That's just who I am. Not after watching true crime endlessly, watching how people navigate in real life, the stuff I see and hear from people who are not on the Oxygen channel, they're not on Dateline. I don't trust anybody, and that's just Queen. I don't believe half the shit that come out of people's mouths. I don't believe nothing, and that's just me. And that's just from dealing with people. Dealing with people who lie all the damn time. Endlessly. So I view them just the same as I view this story here. And they just haven't made the news. And that's how I look at it. Because that's what you have to think about with some of these people out here that you're talking to and dealing with, even yourself. Most people that you deal with in real life, they're only one step away from being a news story. I want you to think about that. They are just one step away from being an Oxygen, Dateline, YouTube video because the shit that they do. And that could be any of us. The company you keep, the people you're dating, your children, your grandchildren, aiding people, running to the mall, get hit by a car, get shot up, get held, kidnapped. Any of us can be a news story. And when you're dealing with certain type of things in your life, especially nefarious deeds, aiding wrongdoing, doing wrongdoing, you should know you're 1 minute from being a news story. That's just common sense. So Gypsy Rose is one in God knows how many of jacked up stories of crazy ass parents rearing kids, doing wrong. And the truth got out in the most horrific way. They plotted to kill her and she died. She was murdered. Let's go back. Her mom scarred her both physically and mentally. She stunted her growth and development. I'm glad she's free and she's moving forward with her life. Somebody else. You can tell she has grown so much and matured extremely well. I'm so proud of her and I wish her endless blessings and happiness. Designer only says, so happy for Gypsy and her freedom. I feel bad that this is what she thought would be the only way out. And I'm sure she's missing her mother, but I'm really happy for her freedom and I wish her a great life. 4 replies. She's out, but her boyfriend is locked away for life. Doesn't seem right. Somebody replies to that. I mean, the boyfriend is the one who actually committed the crime. So yeah, he should still be there. Another reply. There was other factors. And what were those? Somebody says, I bet she misses her mom in a strange way. Anyone being too harsh on her doesn't understand the reality of how intense and painful operations truly are. I've had many operations myself, and I can't imagine how horrible it would be to go through such pain for literally no reason, all by the person you thought to trust the most. I wish the best from her, and I'm excited to hear her story from her this time. Very interesting comment. All those surgeries, don't know how many there were. Exactly. What type of person would lie to their child, make them pretend to be sick, probably giving her stuff to make her sick, taking her to numerous doctors and places and parading her around like a damn animal, just, it's just a sideshow, a circus act. Taking her to all these organizations and having her put on. It is grooming at the worst. Besides, touching her or physically abusing her. You got this girl putting on a charade. So I understand the person's comment. We don't know what it was like being her. To just have to keep lying until you realize I'm not sick. And then God forbid you confronted the person and then they threaten you. You better not tell anybody. Nobody's going to believe you. And then who's to say she wouldn't have killed her daughter if she thought the girl wanted to escape or leave? So see, it's deeper than just she should have left, she should have ran. Because you do have to weigh all sides of grooming. This is why children don't report abuse. It's because somebody has put fear in him or her. You better not tell, I'll kill you, I'll kill your mom, your dad, or I'll do this to you. So don't tell him what that lady said to her. And she probably felt, I better not do anything. I don't want to make her angry. See, you don't know because you weren't there. And I can't imagine being in that type of position. Because it is easy to judge. You should have said something. You should have said something. Well, children are abused every day in different ways. And the children never tell outsiders what their parents are doing and saying to him. And I think most of you know this. And some of you have probably had abusive parents. And you did not go out to the street and talk bad about your parent. You never told people that your mother talked down to you. Your mother was mean to you. Your parents abused you physically. Your parents did horrible things to you. So I always say, you can't say why somebody didn't go tell. Because kids are abused every day and they don't tell people. That's just a statistic. And I don't know the numbers, but I think we already know it's probably very high. But this person has a great point. Surgeries are painful. So imagine that. Going under the knife for nothing. People have been known to die from infections. Blood clots build up because you're lying flat all day. It's serious. Her teeth were removed, for God's sake. That's horrible. And I wonder if she ever said anything. Why are they taking my teeth out? I want my teeth. That's why I said, what type of doctor would have her teeth removed? You have done blood works. Why are you removing her teeth? Your teeth, your hair for a woman, crowning glory. Everybody knows this. Your teeth, they are a part of you. They are a part of you. Who would advise to take her teeth out of her mouth? This is horrific. And yes, I feel bad for that boy, even though his demeanor came off as if he enjoyed killing the mother in the interrogations. But I do believe he had mental issues as well. That was mentioned, that they believed he was schizophrenic or some type of disorder he had, because he did say he was hearing voices, and he was hearing those before meeting Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So I do not know if there is a legal diagnosis for Mr. Jodagan, but I'd be glad to hear that information. And I won't doubt that there'll probably be some people who will now try to fight for his release, because that's what they're going to say. Two disturbed individuals cross paths and conspired to kill a monster. Why should he continue to stay in prison? And the fact that he stabbed her so many times, that would be the defense's argument. Well, he didn't stab her just once or twice. He didn't just beat her up and she died from her injuries. He stabbed her, I think, about 17 times. So that will be the weight pertaining to him getting out. If somebody decide they want to fight or do a, petition the court for him to get out or have a new hearing. That's what I'm trying to say, get a new hearing. And I don't know the status of any hearings pertaining to his case. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you. Brooke says, very sad. I'm glad she's out and can live her life. Lolo says, I can't believe what some of these mothers do to their babies. Why does this happen? Because they don't care. A lot of these people are very ill that raise children. They have trauma from childhood. So when they become a parent, they exact the same abuse. And then we have to ask that question as well. This is all the past, but what type of life did Dee Dee have, the mother? Who raised her? Was she abused as a child, physically, mentally, sexually, by her parents? Who raised her? Why did she have the father in the life of this girl? Does the father have any regrets? So you have to ask all those questions now. And once again, hindsight is 2020. We love you, Gypsy, and we are also proud of you. Congratulations on your marriage and your freedom. I feel for her. She was abused, not saying it was okay to Kay, your mother, but bless her, she went through a lot. Somebody said she deserves the chance. She served her time. I pray she's strong and goes down the right paths. Get out of that camera, girl, and drama will find you. Blessings. Cindy Hessen, 9213, wherever you are. Exactly. This is why I ask all the questions I ask during my live streams pertaining to true crime. I ask all the things that most people won't ask during an interview because all those things matter pertaining to the storyline. You deserve this chance. But get out of that camera or drama will find you. I'm going to like this person's comment because that is true. Because as you heard during this Good Morning America interview, she's asked that. Do you like the attention? Want this attention? Her response is, well, everybody else has done it. See, that right there, you can flip it both ways. I got a right to do what I want. I'm free. But we also know you can seduce trouble. Okay? Because the response is, well, everybody else has done it. What's the big deal with me doing it? Well, sometimes what's good for Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, Susie may not be good for you. And you're not going to know that until some shit jumps off. Social media probably is not the best thing for a newly released person who conspired to kill another person. I don't care who the person is. She's happy to be out. Nothing wrong with that. But do you need to be on social media? I may put that question on the community board. And I'm going to go over to my community board right now, so I can put that question up there and also check my status of the question I asked you guys weeks ago about how well do you all think she's going to do out here with being released. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Let me put that question up now. Feel free to mosey on over there and take this poll. Should Gypsy Rose be on social media? 1 second. But some of you may say, what's the big deal? Well, it is a big deal. Because you got to ask yourself, is she ready for what comes with being on social media? 1 second, everybody. You have 3 options: yes, no, and not sure. I've now posted the poll. Lolo says she might be setting herself up for disaster. Okay. Which is Gypsy's grandmother? Who are you talking about, bro? Please go to my community board and check out the video that's been released to the public of the black man who charged at a white female judge in court. I believe this was back in November of 2023. It's a very disturbing video. Very, very disturbing. There's also been a shooting in Iowa at a school. 5 hurt, 1 dead. That was uploaded 19 hours ago. And the family of Matthew Guerra, the young man who was killed alongside the pregnant girlfriend in Texas, as both of you know, a father and son have been arrested. The father's been accused of body tampering, and the son is the one who actually killed the guy and the girl. That's the latest update. And on A&E last night, Casey Anthony's parents took a polygraph test. I was not able to access A&E to get to watch the program, but hopefully the streaming will come up in the queue and we will play that together and go over the information from that polygraph. But what I find disturbing is that the clip of the show, Jordan's having a hard time answering the damn question about the baby's whereabouts, which is baffling to me. But the guy says not to judge him. But I just tell myself, what is there? All this time has gone by, 10 or more years. Just say yes or no. Yes, I know about the whereabouts of the baby. No, I don't know about the whereabouts of the baby. Very strange. I think Jordan's maybe just a very emotional creature. And he just don't know how to stick to the agenda of yes or no. Which he's an ex-cop. He should know that. So that's kind of odd to me. But let me go down my page and pull up those questions. Hold on one second, because I've got so many updates I've posted. I have a lot to go through. Anything I don't discuss on my channel, I do post it to my community page. So I do not discuss every waking story. As I told you, I do not want to be talking about true crime every day. I'd like to just bring different types of storylines to the network. But for right now, I will be coming to you all with different scenarios pertaining to Summer Wells. Please check out my movie suggestions from last week. There's some very good movie suggestions. The Lie and also Blow the Man Down. Oh, awesome. Awesome movies. Free on Freevee. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get to that story about her. She should be coming up here any second. Thank you all so much for following this network. Six days ago, I posted to YouTube. Do you think Gypsy Rose will continue to lie since she was groomed so many years by her mother to do so? 34% yes, 12% no, 11% not sure. 42% says she needs counseling. One person replied, well, I don't see the comment. Do you think that Gypsy Rose Blanchard will do well now that she's free in her marriage as well? 40% says yes, 17% says no, 35% not sure, 8% says better off single. User BW says, Gypsy Rose, although she got therapy locked up, I think she would need a lot more, especially since she is in a marriage. Tracy replies, I don't think she should have gotten married. In my opinion, she should have enjoyed her freedom for a while. I give it 6 months max. That's the commentary pertaining to Gypsy Rose. And, oh, well, hold on. I had another question. Do you think Nicholas Godejohn regrets or has remorse for killing Dee Dee Blanchard? 57% yes, 27% no, 17% not sure. Should Nicholas Godejohn have received a life sentence? No parole for the murder of Dee Dee Blanchard. 39% of you said yes. 55% of you said no. 66% of you said not sure. One comment. He was trying to protect her from her evil mother. So half of you do believe he should not have gotten that sentence. Is Gypsy Rose Blanchard reformed? 24% yes, 41% no, 35% not sure. Mystified Margot says, considering how mentally and physically abused and forced to have those many countless operations, I have given her a short sentence if that. I hope she tells her story. to the highest bidder, and I would definitely go to the cinema if it was made into a film. That is someone who has been in the chat recently and has mentioned about the operations, which you also heard in the comment under the video, that she had so many unnecessary, operations. Do you believe that Gypsy Rose Blanchard is remorseful for asking her then boyfriend to kill her mom? Because during an interview, she does say she has regrets in getting that young man involved. 45% says yes, 45% no, 10% not sure. One comment. I'm torn on this one, says Little Michi. There are definitely mental health issues. Is it due to nature, nurture, or both? She could have ran away and told Ellie what her mother was doing. The choices she made with her boyfriend were so wrong. Her lack of remorse from the hotel photos is concerning. I think she needs extensive inpatient therapy. I'm not convinced that she's not a danger to anyone else she gets emotionally tied to. Very interesting. So now we dissect that. Is she equipped to be in a relationship? Number one. Has she received extensive counseling while incarcerated? Number two. Because I don't think people get counseling in prison because you have to use deduction. The prison is filled with inmates. How in the world would they be able to counsel every person in a prison? Just imagine that. Every person in prison getting counseling. And I doubt that they would give you counseling if you've received a life or death sentence. Why would they do that? So did she receive counseling while incarcerated? Did she seek out any type of religious help? Go to church, speak to a rabbi, preacher, pastor, bishop while there? Is she a Christian? Does she believe in God? We can just really go on and on with it. Very interesting. I realized I had so many questions about Gypsy Rose. But you all are neck to neck on her having regrets. But she has admitted that she does have regrets about killing her mother. She also regrets reaching out to the young man and asking him to kill her mother. But you see she's moved on because she's told it in this interview to Good Morning America. I've done my time. That's what she says. But 41% of you do not believe she's reformed. And 45% of you don't believe she has remorse for asking the boyfriend to kill the mother. Should Gypsy Rose have been sent to a mental institution instead of prison? 72% of you said yes. 20% no. 7% not sure. So most of you believe she should have gone to a mental institution instead of prison. 94 votes. Was justice served in the incarceration and release of Gypsy Rose Blanchard? 40% yes, 10% no. She needed more time, 29%. She should have never been arrested, 5%. 16% of you are not sure, 62 votes. Very interesting. So 40% of you believe justice was served, 10% of you don't think that it was. So underneath all of those polls, I have information pertaining to her release. Feel free to check out A&E, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's Infamous Revenge Against Mama, Season 1, Episode 6, 43 minutes long. And then there's also another video from A&E that's 22 minutes long. I don't know if it's got the same information or not, but it's Gypsy Rose Blanchard Abuse, Manipulation, and Murder. So please check out A&E for information pertaining to Gypsy Rose, the Anthony's polygraph tests, which aired last night at 9 p.m. And then Lifetime also is in conjunction, I believe, with this the Anthony's lie detector tests. I'm not going to hold you all much longer because I've got some business to take care of, but I will be back with live number 2 pertaining to Summer Wells and the Circus Act Hee Haw show that took place in the Holler pertaining to her disappearance. When I get more information pertaining to Gypsy Rose and her release from prison, I will bring you an update. I will go to social media in my spare time and watch her content just to see her mindset and her commentary pertaining to her newfound freedom. I will also watch to see if the husband has content or commentary and how he is responding and reacting to her and their newfound union. Will this marriage work? Number one. Will she be happy with this young man? Vice versa. Will she fare well out here free? Will she stay out of trouble? Stay away from drugs, wrong company? We will see. I'm not here to say anything negative about her being free, but we have learned with a lot of people who have been incarcerated, some find themselves back in dire situations. I'm not here to say that she's going to take that path. If she knows what's good for her, she won't. Because prison is not a place for anybody, but there are people who do deserve to be there. Yes, they do. And I think most of us know this. Will they try to have children? She says, I think she said they're not going to be going down that path just yet or haven't decided. And I'm going to honestly say I'm in agreement with what one of the commenters has said. I do believe she should have stayed single. I think she should have gotten released to a relative's house or a halfway house. Number one, she should have been required to go get a job. But see, now I have to tell myself she was paroled. So I don't know. Every state's got their own stipulations about parole and what you have to do to comply. But anyway, I think she should have gotten out single, gotten a job and went to school, got her some type of in some type of program to get study something. This way she keep her mind focused, something positive. Got in cahoots with a Christian organization or church, because I do believe God is the key and the answer. You know, if you don't believe in God, that's your choice. But somebody like her, she needs some stability. She needs some guidance and she needs some direction. And she needs people who are actually doing the right thing and trying to live right. Because right now, we have a lot of mischief going on in the world, and it is so easy to get yourself caught up in the wrong company. And it doesn't necessarily have to be illegal activity, but you could just be in the wrong element because the person's mindset isn't right. And it'll be a shame for this young lady to get herself wrapped up with somebody whose mindset is just as jacked up as her mother's. She'd be going down the same damn path all over again. And I pray she doesn't meet anybody that will try to mislead her or guide her in the wrong direction. And I also pray she doesn't pop off. Because you got to remember, she's been groomed. That's not a lie. She's been groomed to lie, to manipulate. And you just don't put that on the back burner. Because you got to remember one thing. Although she was abused by this lady, she had the fortitude to manipulate somebody else to kill her mother. Now, think about that. So see, you can weigh this half and half. Abused child, manipulated, lied to, made to be a liar, groomed to be a liar, groomed to be a manipulator, groomed to be a con artist, to later groom another person, mentally disabled, allegedly, to kill her mother. So that's in her. And that quality, those qualities don't just disappear because you got 9 years in prison. That's an assumption. Oh, well, she did her time. She all right. Well, we already know people don't get therapy in prison. So all that baggage you've carried from childhood, teenage life, whatever got you into prison, 9 times out of 10, you still got some of that shit locked up in you. And sitting in prison does not reform you. That's a myth. I think we know that because America has the highest rate of recidivism. So we know now that's not true. Your actions out here free is what's going to determine if you've changed or not. She has to be free in order to say, I'm better, I'm striving to be better. But she's not going to really know if she's better until she lives free, because that's the whole point of the story. She's never been free. She went from locked up with a mother, possibly had the assets to walk out the house, but chose not to for whatever reason, to then go to prison, to now free at 30-something years of age. She's got to now learn how to think for herself, navigate for herself, cook an egg by herself. You see where I'm going? Walk outside by herself, go to the mall by herself, have a private conversation without any interruptions. Nobody's got anything to say. This is why I said she needs her freedom alone time. Not saying she doesn't need to interact with people. Of course she needs to interact with people. She needs to be around healthy people. But what I'm saying is she needs to be, I would say, supervised to some degree. Yes. Just to make sure she doesn't fall by the wayside. She doesn't get tangled up with the wrong people, especially tangled up with the wrong people on social media, because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people reaching out to her, wanting to talk to her, interview her, and she could get herself wrapped up. And as somebody loves to say from the holler, they just took everything I said and misconstrued it. This is why you have to be careful about talking to people, repeating things, because you're going to have dirty people that'll record your conversations, try to trip you up, try to make you sound like you don't have any remorse or regrets. That's why you have to be very careful about who you talk to and what you say. I think she needs to stay away from social media for a while. I think she just needs to come out, get a job, go to school, work, live her life with this guy, see how this interaction is working with him. Because let me tell you what'll be jacked up. She gets out here, she starts letting all these different people get in her ear. She starts venting on social media. That's going to be her downfall. The first time something pops off, goes wrong with her and that guy, she's going to run to social media. And then here come the typers. You shouldn't be with him. You should have done it. And then she'll have all these voices in her head. And she won't know how to deal with all that, because she'll probably go to social media for advice. You see people do it all the time. They blog about their daily life, and God forbid something happens in their life. The dog died, this and that. They go to the chat. What do you think I should do? What should I bury him in? And you have all these voices in your damn head. Sometimes it's best to just shut everything down, be by yourself, walk it out in your head. Sometimes we don't need to talk to people about what's wrong. We don't need to tell people what's wrong. We don't need to go on live streams. We don't need to post to social media. You need shutdown time. Just you, an empty room, an empty car, a walk in the park by yourself. And we as people have got to learn that. Sometimes it is best to keep things to yourself. Don't vent. Vent internally. And it's a lesson learned. Trust me, I know, 52. Sometimes it's best to keep things to yourself. That's why I said social media is dangerous to somebody who's had this type of lifestyle, because she's never had real freedom. I don't think she's had enough counseling, therapy. So running to social media immediately after being released, that will be the first place she'll go when things are not right. And I don't think that's going to work in her favor. And then you got to also ask yourself about this guy. Who is he? What are his intentions and true motives for meeting her, dating her, marrying her? Will he flip out on her when things don't go right? And then he runs to social media and starts telling us every dirty detail of this, and this, and what she didn't do and how she acts. That would be devastating as well. This is why I keep telling you, you don't know people. And some people might say, well, you're being negative. No, I'm not being negative. I'm speaking of worst case scenario. how people turn when things don't go their way. Because she has not had the fortitude to deal with multiple personalities of different people because she was secluded by her mother. So she's only been with one nut job. Okay? She met one, she was born by a nut, then she became grown and seduced another nut to kill her mother. But she has not been free to roam to meet more nut jobs. And that's my fear. It's the worst case scenario. She starts getting tangled up and starts talking to different people, people putting different ideas in her head, God forbid. Like I said, one day she has a bad day. Maybe she starts feeling sad or depressed. She starts talking that shit on social media. The wrong person gets in her head. And then you also got to think about this guy. What if he decides he's the jealous type of guy? Do you even know if he's dated a lot of women or not? Has he ever been married before? Does he have children? Does he even want children? How's he going to feel with all this newfound attention? He might start to get jealous with all this attention. He may start getting upset because she's on her phone all the time, posting and taking selfies. See, that's what people don't understand about when things start out. Yeah, everything's great at first. Like she said, everything's in Technicolor. But as she started walking this walk, this thing called life, watching people, looking at their comments and what she's saying, looking at people comment on the videos and this and that, start dealing with this guy, learning him, learning his lifestyle. She might start seeing, damn, hell, I might have been better off still locked up in prison. I mean, you never know. All I'm saying is she's free and there's a price for freedom. And I think all of us know this because we're all adults here in this chat, hopefully. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day, too. Happy New Year, Eyes of Brown. All I'm going to say is I wish her well. I'm going to leave it at that. And I just pray that this guy is genuine. I also pray that she's genuine because God has favored her to give her another chance, whether you agree or not. And she needs to make the best of this newfound freedom, and she needs to try to live right. And in the end, this will all be on Gypsy Rose. Whatever she decides to do, whoever she decides to meet in life, how she decides to treat this guy, I don't know. I'm not here to say anything bad about either one. I'm just saying she comes from a tainted history. And we have learned from our own experiences and true crime that some people just never get it right. They just continuously have bad damn luck. They keep attracting the wrong kind of people. And they may actually be genuine and say, damn, I'm trying to do right. I'm trying to do the right thing. But it just seems like it's an omen. And I get that. Because I think that about my own self. Like, Jesus, where did this person come from? Why do I keep attracting these same type of no good people? You know what I'm saying? They're always on the take. They're always out to, and then you have to check yourself and say, well, did I put something out into the universe that attracted these people? What did I say? What did I do? So sometimes you do have to assess yourself. But you also have to say, well, we live in a world where people are tainted. We all make mistakes. I just have to work on myself, that I make the right decisions, and I treat people accordingly. And that's really all you can do. That's my commentary for this afternoon. Join me later for live number 2 pertaining to Summer Wells. I will be back on. I will put a notification up on the community page when I'm about to go live. If you see upcoming on the monitor, that means I will be ready to open the live stream for your enjoyment. Please check out my last live. It is very winded. Chop it up in intervals because it's 4 hours long, about 4 hours long. Did not mean for it to go that long, but I played Chris Madonna's commentary at the swimming hole so you can get a general idea to tie it into my hypothetical. Each commentary pertaining to Summer Wells is a hypothetical because we don't know what happened to her. But each day I bring you information pertaining to things that were said by the parents and other people in the storyline. The next live stream will be pertaining to the shenanigans of it all. All the people that wanted 5 minutes of fame from Summer Wells. We're going to dissect it. I'm going to let you have at it because I'm sure you will. I'll also drop the link. Feel free to take advantage of that because that's me extending an olive branch to you to come up on the panel and give your opinion pertaining to the said information. God bless all of you. Happy New Year. Thank you for listening to this content. Take the polls on my community page pertaining to Gypsy Rose and my other breaking news. Prayers for the school in Iowa where there was a shooting. Updates I've got pertaining to Epstein. The kids that were murdered in Texas. They do have 2 suspects now arrested, father and son. Take the polls, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that like button. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $sign Blanchard 129. Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Woo! God bless all of you. Yes, please come back here in a couple hours. I will be back in a few hours. Summer Wells is live number 2. Sorry about that. hit the button. Thank you all so much. Gypsy Rose, I'm praying for you, honey. Hope you make it out here. God bless you on your journey. Comment below this video pertaining to Gypsy Rose. Let me know if you think she's going to make it out here. She's going to fare well. Go back 6 days where I have all the questions pertaining to her case, where you can take the polls and give your commentary. And we will just follow the story to see what happens with this young lady and her husband. I just pray we don't hear any shenanigans. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Lolo, Isa Brown, Miss Shelton. Thank you all. Stardust. God bless all of you. You have been listening to the Vault XL.